This is Mike, and welcome to the very first episode of Brain Blossoms, the quick 5 to 7 minute sibling to planting thoughts. On the main broadcast, we do the deep dives. Over here, it's all about quick blooms, fast, research-backed psychology rundowns to keep your brain curious, fresh, and maybe even a little calmer. Today's blossom? Anxiety, the world's most unwanted plus one at every party. You know you've got anxiety when you rehearse a conversation so much in your head, you win an imaginary Oscar even before you pick up the phone. So, what is anxiety exactly? Think of it as your body's smoke alarm, useful when the kitchen's actually on fire, but a little overdramatic when you're just making toast. The symptoms are pretty recognizable: racing heart, sweaty palms, jittery hands, and that creeping sense of doom that makes you want to cancel all your plans. And if I'm being honest, one of my biggest anxiety triggers is being late, or worse, putting someone else out. Like, I can handle stress, but if I think I've ruined your plans, game over. Case in point, just recently I got a flat on the way home, right? Total pain. And my best bud, and also my co-host on Planting Thoughts, Manon, stayed with me through the entire fiasco. I'm talking hours. She drove me to the Pep Boys, then to my house, then to Home Depot. We made the grand tour of car repair purgatory, only to finally track down the right piece to fix the tire. And even after that, she followed me home to make sure I didn't end up stranded again. Now, here's the kicker. The whole time, she's being the world's most patient friend, and my brain is screaming, I'm ruining her night. She had plans. She could literally be anywhere else, but stuck with me. And that thought loop made it so much harder to think straight. My sympathetic nervous system was lit up like a Christmas tree, heart pounding, sweaty palms, brain fog, and all because my mind wasn't just on the tire. It was on my guilt. Anxiety loves to pile on like that. It also didn't help that I had only slept like 4 hours the night before, and it was like 93 degrees at 8 p.m., but hey, that's Georgia. And that story is actually a perfect example of how anxiety hijacks us. Inside the brain, the amygdala spots what it thinks is a threat. Oh no, I'm ruining my friend's night. Cortisol, adrenaline, sympathetic arousal. When it lights up, it recruits the hypothalamus and the HPA axis to flood your body with cortisol and adrenaline. Your body is ready to fight a bear, but all you're really doing is trying to tighten lug nuts in the parking lot. Not ideal. Over time, this cycle rewires the brain, what researchers call neuroplasticity, making it easier and easier to trigger the anxiety loop the next time around. Behaviorally, anxiety changes us. Sometimes we avoid situations altogether, and sometimes we rehearse conversations in our head like it's a one-man Shakespeare festival. Unfortunately, having anxiety is like having a personal trainer you never hired, always yelling at you to run, sweat, and panic, even when you're just in line at Target. But here's the encouraging part. The same neuroplasticity that wires anxiety in can help wire it out. Decades of research on mindfulness-based interventions, sometimes called MBSR, show that they can actually reduce anxiety symptoms with effect sizes as strong as the traditional talk therapies. A big review in the journal Clinical Psychology Review found mindfulness can be just as effective as cognitive behavioral therapy. And in the clinical trial published in JAMA Psychiatry, mindfulness training actually held its own against the antidepressants. Both groups saw about a 30% drop in anxiety, but the mindfulness group had far fewer side effects, so instead of nausea or fatigue, you just get calmer. And mindfulness isn't the only player on the field. Virtual reality therapy is making waves too. In 2025, a systematic review pulled together dozens of studies and found that self-guided VR helped people with public speaking fears, phobias, and even social anxiety with very low dropout rates. Turns out it's easier to face your fears when the audience you're presenting to is literally made of pixels. And don't underestimate breathing. Research on sky breath meditation, short for Sudarshan Kriya Yoga, has shown improvements in anxiety and PTSD symptoms, sometimes even stronger than basic mindfulness. Translation, those deep inhales and exhales are more than just yoga fluff. They're rewiring tools for your nervous system. And we all need that, let's be honest. So what can you actually try if anxiety is taking up too much headspace? Mindfulness practices or structured MBSR programs, which multiple trials confirm are just as effective as medication for many people. CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, still considered the gold standards with lasting benefits. and newer approaches like self-guided VR or structured breathing, which are really showing promising results in the early studies. The point is, your brain can learn calmer patterns, and the research keeps proving it. Now that's today's Brain Blossom. Anxiety explained, from sweaty palms to brain wiring, plus a few science-backed ways to dial it down. If you like this quick bloom, subscribe to Planting Thoughts on YouTube and Spotify, and follow us on Instagram for more. Until next time, keep your thoughts planted and your brains blooming.